Okay, so here's Liam's VOD review now. Just the first one. Okay. Okay, I just went way too far forward. Alright, let's get started. Your team comp is okay. I mean, ZARYA isn't as good as on NUMBANI. She's probably not going to be able to do as much, but that's alright. You probably should have gone up there sooner. All Hammond going to do is split your attention. The bubble was kind of useless. I mean, like, it was somewhat hard to tell that it was going to be useless, but you could have told, like, you were able to. So. You couldn't have done too much better there. Maybe you may have wanted to track the Hammond instead of right click, but that's okay. Other than your positioning at the beginning, and what's it called, that maybe the bubble. I mean, it was basically fine. Yeah, you recognize that. That's good. Okay, so that's a decent charge. I skipped ahead. Okay, so that's good charge now. You probably shouldn't have turned around to look at the Hammond. I'll explain why after the fight ends. You should be dropping back much quicker and like to your supports there instead of walking forward to go through the tunnel. Oh, and you should usually be right-clicking Moiras and Cole. They're just really hard to track. You're probably gonna get more value out of hitting the ground near them.
Mercy, come to me. Mercy, buddy.
Your Mercy didn't need help as bad as you did there. Honestly, you had so many people on you, now you might just stagger.
Mercy, if you stayed with me, buddy, I would have killed him for you.
Okay, good job building Grav. Okay, I mean, not too much you could have done there. But you should have probably listened to audio cues there a little bit more in that hallway, especially. I don't feel like rewinding and drawing it. But you could hear the people coming in behind you. Your Ana wasn't. I mean, your Ana wasn't like hitting you.
Did you go for me for healing? No. Ana, why are you attacking when there's somebody right next to you to be healed?
You're not wrong, but you shouldn't be that far out. You're kind of feeding. You should have just stayed back because it looks like you're getting absolutely rolled. You need to use Grav here as soon as Cole ends.
Oh my gosh.
Or earlier if you start dying. Wait, make sure you can get the reload off before animation canceling. Yeah. This one's not as descriptive because I haven't seen any super major mistakes yet. Or like major improvement points. It's more bubble timing. If I see like spam and you don't walk into it and you have bubble, then I'll see it. I'll like stop. Nice. What the?
Alright, we staggered him.
You've been holding Grav for a little bit long. I understand that there weren't very many opportunities, but you probably should have used it a little bit earlier in the fight. Oh, you shouldn't have bubbled there. That's kind of a waste of charge.
Tell me when you're ready.
You should have bubbled your Ryan a bit earlier.
Alright, easy grab.
Because there was a good chance he would be punished there before he actually was. Like, punished, like, a lot earlier.
Okay.
If this wasn't gold, he would have been expecting that. Watch your positioning. You didn't have to die there. You should have just, like, maybe grabbed and then dropped out.
Thank you, Mercy.
That's a good bubble in your Rhine. Good kill on theirs. Nice. You're using the melee combo I taught you. That's one of the best ways to kill tracers since they're hard to track. And nice. Though you should have probably went for the right clicks there. So the tracking.
When your healers don't heal, instead go for damage.
You just said when your healers don't heal instead of go for damage. You're not wrong. But you've also died a couple times completely on your own accord, so don't overlook that.
Huge.
Again, try to listen to audio cues. Like, really crank your headphone volume way, way up. Nice feed off of that Hammond, good tracking. But you probably could have known where the McCree was and maybe flicked around. I don't know if you had bubble or not, but if you had bubble, you definitely could have saved your Ana. A nice catch.
Yeah, true.
The Ryan's kind of stupid. You should you should call out that your McCree's flanking there. I mean, like, your Ryan clearly knows it, but I don't think your supports do. You should have started right-clicking a bit earlier there. That's a unlucky grab.
That's a terrible ult, dude.
That was more unlucky than terrible. Like, sometimes you just say, like, terrible when it's unlucky and unlucky when it's terrible. Like, that one just kind of got body blocked by the bottom of the Hammond. You should use the melee combo there. Again, free damage. And, like, what's it called? You use your laser a bit too much on things that aren't tanks. Unless if it's, like, if you're 100 charge and they're easy to track, you should almost always be using right-click as Zarya. You don't have to have Defran tracking to climb on this hero. Just understand how your right-clicks work. Here. Once I get a better example of that, I'm gonna stop and draw for a bit. Nice. Again, remember to melee though, because it's a bigger form of burst damage. Good bubble. Go support him with your... I'm pretty sure you could have walked through there, but I may be wrong. It's okay. You're fine. If your Ryan is lining up a pin on your Mei, you should have went for the Hammond. You could have killed him. That's just awareness of who your team is going for, because you know that what's it called? The Mei's gonna die because a Mei can't survive what's it called, a charge. And you could have finished off the Hammond and gotten yourself ult charge in that time. Instead, you shot the Mei for like a second, and then she's dead anyway. Okay. You should have bubbled your Rhino a little bit later. You can save him from Blizzard because bubble resets freeze ticks. Like all the ticks that freeze gets off on you. Remember, you can walk into those things for free charge. Good bubble on your Rhine. Grab the cart. Grab the cart, grab the cart. That's not a very good grab. You could. It's always better to grab the cart instead of solo ulting like someone else. Because then you get the more slippery guys instead of McCree, who you can just track regardless.
Huge.
Right. Yeah, you guys are fine. You're not gonna lose that. Be right-clicking. Why are you not right-clicking? It's a Lucio. You're never gonna track him.
Get off me.
Okay. Look at this. You see this? What is this? What is this? Why are you trying to track him or like do it up on the wall? Wait until he's about to hit the ground, and then like boom, use your right-click. It's and like melee combo. That's just gonna be so much more efficient damage. I'll skip bad. Okay, Vixen is Pepega. Zarya absolutely sucks on this map. Except on defense, Zarya is basically unplayable here. Like, so is Rhine. That's one of the cool dynamics of NUMBANI. Even though I really hate the map, it just diversifies things a little bit. Because the hero is absolutely unplayable. Just because, like, in this rank, it's not too bad. Because you see where he's holding? They're holding this high ground. This is a very dumb idea. They should always be holding the high ground opposite of you. Like, far back. That Bastion is also quite stupid. Hit him with a Sonic. Tag him. You should have Storm Arrowed the shield. You're not using your E early enough. And charge up your arrows more, it's still more consistent. I know. Rapid fire as Hanzo, even if you hit the same amount of shots in a time that you would use your left click as you are with right click. Left click does more damage than that, so just charge everything to full. Or almost full. Don't just spam. You should have probably reacted to that Bastion a little quicker. If he didn't have gold tracking, you would have been dead there. Urine's feeding, but he traded Bastion in the process, which is okay. And another thing I noticed, which is probably a different habit, is your aim is way too flicky. Like here. I'm gonna go back a lot. Here. Here. That's a good example. Here. I'm gonna slow this down. Advanced settings. Wait, 1 second. Playback right. You see this? Here. Right there. That shot is a good lined up shot, and then you just start flicking it up, and you miss it by so much. Here, like, look. Your crosshair was originally here, which is around where the McCree was. Oh, I'll make that blue so it's actually visible. This is around where McCree was, and you just flicked it. And then you random direction, and all of a sudden it's up here. It's off hitting nobody. That's probably a habit from like Fortnite, but you really should not be flicking. Crosshair placement matters so much more because it's so much more consistent, and it's just better in pretty much every way. Here, I'll change it back to regular. Like, flicking with your aim is just absolutely way too inconsistent to be done reliably. That McCree also probably could have died if you had your head at head level a bit more.
I'll get it back quick enough.
I don't know how closer Zarya is to Grav, because I can't really hear her. Why? Okay, I assume that was a fat finger. Yeah, she's battle mercying. You're not using your storm arrows enough. Like, you could have used it a lot earlier. And plus, you should always be focusing the Bastion with storm arrows, not their hog. Because their hog can use his E through them. Actually, that's a tip that hogs have against Hanzos. They'll literally save their E ability just for storm arrows if you're in a 1v1. Because of the 50% damage reduction. So you should not be going for a hog with storm arrows. You should usually be going for someone easy to hit, or if not easy to hit, then somebody who can't counter it with an ability. Because storm arrows do so much damage. That's why Hanzo is so powerful. You should be using it almost every time it's off cooldown.
I'm almost done. Let me get it.
Well, I can. Nice audio cue, and
I went for the snipe. I should not have done.
Yeah, there you go. There's a much better example. How your flicking was a problem. Playback right. Your crosshair's on his skull. Okay, never mind. You didn't flick there. That's just unlucky. That's straight up unlucky, my bad. But remember, have more shots like that instead of just random. That one's just straight up unlucky.
Oh, so close, dude.
That one's just ends. You should not grab before your Zarya grabs.
I don't know why I didn't throw it. It was like that was the best spot to put it.
You should still wait for him. Just because he didn't throw it, like, regardless, the fact you walked in front of your Rhine shield to die while throwing dragons. Don't swap McCree. McCree's a throw. Hanzo's a good pick here. Ash is a very bad pick here. Okay. Ash's scope sensitivity is slightly different. So that's what you mean. If it'll help you be less flicky with your aim, and maybe it'll help regardless. I'll go back. For some reason, I just thought you were going to lose that fight. You should be on flanks more often. Abusing flank playstyles can get you into pretty high SR. Especially when you play at low ranks where they can't punish you very easily.
You gotta learn that. You just gotta like if you hit them up, then you have to like while they're jumping while they're low. It makes it easy for you to kill them.
Oh yeah, yeah, agreed. It's an easy kill. Dynamite makes things easier kills. You do not have coach gun. You're okay. You probably should have called that out to your team. General tip, this one doesn't matter as much, is you should be like shooting different enemies while they're shattered. So, because you can guarantee to get death of a couple if you shoot more than one. Otherwise, if your entire team shoots one and then your entire team shoots the next, maybe you'll get 2 kills out of 4-man shatter. Awareness. You should not have walked right in front of that Bastion's line of sight. Okay, that's a decent bob. Actually, it's quite a good bob. That's a smart boop. Force Mortars fade.
What'd you do, Bob? What'd you do? Yeah.
Don't ever jump into a McCree. Don't ever jump into a McCree. His fan hammer's actually like way too powerful for that.
Yeah, we can't do anything there.
Hanzo's a good, still a better pick.
These are all ones for. High ground.
I guess you're gonna win on this push. By the way, your team is communicating in the fact that they have 4 ults in their back pocket.
That's not okay.
And they're 4 of the 5 strongest ults. When you're in grab, line up headshots, especially when they're getting healed. Like here. Okay. Let's take a quick look. I'm gonna slow it down to 0.25 again. Okay. Wait, no, I skipped far past it. Okay. Fire at will. You should have stood... Okay, well, first of all, you should have shot sooner. It would have done it. Second of all, you shouldn't have moved while lining up that shot. You should have waited, since he can't move, and just clicked his skull. And although you did eventually click his skull, you didn't do it with a full-powered arrow. That's... When somebody grabs for you, it should be seen as a perfect opportunity as the person is standing still. So make sure you're going to get the 1-tap. And there was absolutely nothing that could have threatened you there. Coalescence takes a bit under 3 seconds to kill you. You have more than enough time, especially considering you have leap up. Right. Stop flicking. Stop flicking.
Bye-bye.
Just wait for the enemy to walk into your crosshair. Go look at Joomla for this. If you've ever heard of the Widow, Joomla 25cm, he never flicks. Like, he's known for his crosshair placement. He just has his crosshair in the right place at the right time. And that's how he gets snipes. He doesn't have to do nutty flicks.
I'm good.
That's fine. You probably should have shot at that monkey a little bit as he went over. That's probably some free damage. But you're going to win here. Stop flicking. When you flick, you're less likely to hit the shot. Flicking is only decent for when there's like a fucking nanoblading Genji behind you that you need to like flick, because if you just have crosshair placement, you just have to move your mouse. And sometimes you'll have to flick because it'll be like, instead of, here, watch my cursor in the bottom. Instead of like you being able to just track someone with this movement, it's more like placement. You'll just be forced to take quick turns, and sometimes then you just will have to. You just will have to be flicking to everyone. Generally, I think you did a pretty good job in this. Main points I would have taken away from it are 1. Stop flicking. You need crosshair placement. Why are you flicking? You're gonna miss all your shots. You had a pretty low accuracy that game. You could have killed so much more if you had just waited for them to walk into your crosshair. Flicking may look better, but it's the fast track to D rank. Because maybe every 3 fights you get 1 flash a kill versus every fight getting 2 normal kills. 2. What's it called? 2 is watch your general positioning. This is probably your largest general issue. This is your main one. The reason this one is number 1 is because it's the main one from this video, since you're playing snipers, DPS, that stuff. But in most of yours, you kind of fed a couple times. There was situations that you easily could have survived in, and you didn't. And general awareness is also good. Like, try to process of where everyone is. Audio cues are very important. There's a couple of times I remember. Let me try to find that cafe example. Okay. 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 Play it from here.
Come to me. Mercy, buddy.
You could have heard those people coming behind you. And there, you can hear them coming through, like the McCree, the Hammond, the Mercy coming through that door. Oh, and plus never go into a small hallway to escape. You're gonna get yourself killed. Like every time, especially as Zarya when you're very large and pink and glowing, so nobody can really pass by you and not notice you. So going back to that. So again, no flick. 2 is positioning. And this is only because you fed a couple of times positioning. And 3 is general awareness, which was somewhat poor.
What's up with the pony, Gus?
My bank's having me ride it.
Yeah, I think your bank's taking you for a ride.
Okay, yeah, generally, that's pretty much it. I'm getting a Spotify ad, so I'm gonna speak louder. I hate Spotify ads. So yeah, that should be it. I think that's good enough for this video. You played well. I think you played better on Zarya than you did on DPS. But the main point from this video, especially when you're playing high aim-intensive heroes like Zarya and DPS, no flicking. Just move your crosshair, wait for them to walk into it. Especially when you're Zarya right-clicking. Like if you can do like micro-flick tracking, where you just like flick your mouse a very tiny bit. That's just how you aim. That's okay. But like, you're doing drastic flicks. That would look very cool. But your flicks are taking the crosshair and moving it away from your target. Like, you should never be missing a Winston in point-blank range, which I remember. But yeah, that's generally it. That should be all. So yeah.